Ever heard of a shell voicing? Here's how they work. A shell voicing is a 3-note chord that usually consists of a root, a third, and some kind of seventh. Shell voicings leave out the 5th note of a chord. Not that the 5th isn't important, but it's the least colorful tone of the bunch. Because shell voicings are stripped down to their most essential notes of a chord, they're very practical and become useful in many rhythm guitar situations, especially in jazz, blues, also sometimes even country. So when learning shell voicings, we're constantly analyzing at first what these chord functions of root, third, and 7th are. The root. This is the home base for the chord. This is what the bass player is playing. The third, this defines whether the chord is major or minor. Super important. The 7th, this could be a major 7th, minor 7th, or a diminished 7th interval. Further defining the chord quality as a whole. Now I want to mention, oftentimes instead of having a major 7, we add a 6th instead, just a major 6th, to replace it. This usually depends on many things, including genre, chord quality, context of the song, including what's happening in the melody. So that's just something to keep in mind. Now, commonly, we first learn shell voicings that are rooted on the low E, 6th string, and also the A, 5th string. Okay, so let's get to it, and also at the end of this video, we'll cover a few useful progressions to practice shell voicings with. Okay, let's start off with 6th string low E root. Now, when playing shell voicings that are rooted on the 6th string, the chord tones or functions will lay out like this. We'll have the root on the 6th string, the low E string. We'll have the 7th or the 6th on the 4th D string. And then we'll have the 3rd on the G string. So let's start off with a major 7 shell rooted on the low E string. We're gonna play a bunch of A chords here, a bunch of A shells. So we're starting with the root on the 5th fret. I'm using my index for this. Then we're gonna take the 7th. We're gonna play the 6th fret of the D string. I'm using my ring. That's the major 7 interval. And then we're gonna play a major 3rd on the G string 6th fret. Now, typically when you play shell voicings, you try and mute all the other strings. So I can kind of strum freely, and the A string, B, and high E are all muted by different fingers. This allows me to get a nice punchy strum. Okay, so that's A major 7. Now let's look at the common variation, which is an A6. Now we're gonna take that major 7 down to the major 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right there. Now we need to reconfigure our fingering a little bit. Our middle has the root. Pinky now has the major 3rd on the G string. Index will grab that major 6 on the D string. This is very nice. Sometimes the major 6 interval is a better choice over major 7 because it's not as dissonant. This is quite rubby. The major 6 is a little more clear. Okay, our other voicing here, let's look at dominant. So for this one, you can fret it a few different ways. A common one would be like this. So we had our major 7. All we need to do is take that middle finger down to a flat 7. So from major 7 to flat 7, you've got a dominant. So you got root, flat 7, and the major 3rd. And this is great for all sorts of blues playing. Okay, also, we're gonna take a look at minor 7 here as well. For minor 7, all we have to do is take this same fretting and move the ring finger down 1 fret. So everything is on the same fret. 5, 5, 5. And we have root, we have flat 7, and we have minor 3rd. By the way, to find more in-depth lessons on not only shell voicings, but complete beginner to advanced guitar learning, click the link in the description below for a free ultimate beginner guide that includes an essential chord chart, a practice plan, a walkthrough of some beginner pitfalls to avoid, plus a whole lot more. Okay, back to the lesson. Okay, now we're gonna look at 5th string root shell voicings. So our A string, and we're gonna go to the 5th fret, and we're gonna play a bunch of D chord shell voicings. Now, when playing shell voicings that are rooted on the 5th string, the chord tones or functions will lay out a little bit differently than they were on the low E string. So it's gonna look like this. The root is gonna be on the 5th A string. The 3rd is gonna be on the D string, usually here or here, major or minor. And the 7th and the 6th will be on the 3rd G string. So we have major 7, minor 7, or 6. Okay, let's start off by looking at our major 7 shape rooted on the A string. Looks like this. I've got my middle finger on the root of the chord, the D root, and that's 5th fret of the A string. The major 3rd is going to be on the D string, 4th fret there. Pinky is taking the major 7 on 6th fret of G. This is a great one because we're just using strings that are right next to each other. Okay, now sometimes, again, it's a little dissonant, so we might want the major 6. All we have to do is let go of that pinky, and you can find the 6 2 frets lower. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in this case, we have root, major 3rd, and 6. And I'm grabbing both of the major 3rd and the 6 with my index finger right there. Okay, for the dominant shell, all we have to do is add our ring to the flat 7. Now remember, our octave is right here. So if you're ever confused, compare it to that octave. Major 7, flat 7, 6. So there's our dominant 7. And then for the minor 7, all we have to do is take that major 3rd down to a minor 3rd. So you can fret it like this. This might be a little tough. I would normally go ring on the root, index on the minor 3rd, pinky on the flat 7. Now, if you're enjoying this video, why not give it a like? You can also subscribe to the channel, stay up to date with all the cool instructional things that we're putting out. Now back to the lesson. Okay, now you have a basis for some of these shell voicings. Let's apply some of these shapes to a progression. This is gonna be a common jazz progression that we're gonna look at. It's called a 2-5-1, and that's just referring to the chords within a key. So let's take a look at the key of G. Now the 2 minor chord in the key of G is gonna be G, A, built on A. So we're gonna play an A minor 7, just like that, or you can play it like this too. So this is rooted on the low E string. This is our minor 7. Then we're gonna go to the 5. Now the 5 in the key of G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is D. It's a dominant chord. So right there, we can go to our D7. For here, A minor 7, right to D7, rooted on the A string. They're right next door, so it's really close. And then we're gonna resolve this to a G6, which is right here, rooted on low E. Root, 6, major 3rd. We'll hold that for 2 bars. Now, in jazz, it's common to just play quarter notes. Make them a little short, maybe kind of staccato. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. One more bar. Try it with me. Here we go. Starting on A minor 7. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. D7, 2, 3. G6, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Let's do that one more time. 3 and 4 and 1. Maybe swing it a little bit. Okay, let's take a look at a little bit more of an advanced jazz progression. We're gonna start with the 1 chord. We're still in the key of G. We're gonna start with that same G6 shape rooted on low E. Next, we're gonna go to the 4 chord, which is C major 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll play C major 7 rooted on the A string. So we go here to here. Now the cool thing about that is all you have to do is move your middle finger over. You can leave your index and pinky put. Very nice. And this is something about shell voicings that's very easy to play these chords and move them around because everything's close by proximity-wise. Okay, so that's our 4, C major 7. Now we're gonna go to a 6 minor, which is E minor. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we could play open E minor, but it doesn't lend itself too much to jazz. So we're gonna come up here. We're gonna play this E minor 7 voicing rooted on the A string. Root, minor 3rd, flat 7. This is a 6 minor. Okay, from here, we're gonna go to an A7, so an A dominant. Now A is the 2nd degree in the key of G. 1, 2, and we're playing a dominant voicing, and you're like, what's going on there? This is also very common in jazz. Make something dominant, and then we're gonna make it minor in the next bar. So we have our dominant voicing rooted on the low E, 6th string, and then bring that major 3rd down to minor to make it an A minor 7. Simple as that. And then from here, normally we would go to the 5 chord, but what we're gonna do instead is slide down to an A flat dominant. And this is just a fancy way to bring us back home to 1. But it gives us cool bass movement from here to here. All you have to do is slide down 2 fingers, middle and ring. Keep your pinky where it's at. And then when we move back to G6, to our home bass chord, you can slide middle, pinky down, grab the 6th, and we land back at G6. So let's go through this progression one more time. We have G6, it's our 1 chord. Our 4 chord, C major 7, all you have to do is move that middle finger over to the C root, C major 7. Moving up to our E minor 7, our 6 minor, sliding everything up. You can keep your pinky on the same string. There we go, now we're between frets 5 and 7, rooted on the 7th fret, E minor 7. Then we're gonna go to an A dominant. Again, slide that pinky down. 1, the other fingers follow suit. You have an A dominant. And then you're gonna make that major 3rd minor for an A minor 7. And then we're gonna fall down with our other 2 voicings here for an A flat dominant. This is a sub 5. And then we land on our 1. Let's try whole notes for now. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. G6, 2, 3, C major 7, 2, 3, E minor 7, 2, 3, A7, 2, 3, A minor 7, 2, 3, A flat 7, 2, 3, resolve to 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's hear that with those quarter notes. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. C major 7, E minor 7, A7, 2, 3, 4, A minor 7, 2, A flat 7, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, next, try using some of the shell voicings over chord progressions that you already know. A great one is a simple 12-bar blues. All right, that's all for today. I hope you got something out of these useful voicings. If you did, go ahead and give us a like, subscribe to the channel. It's always appreciated. Be sure to enter your email for a free beginner guitar guide linked in the description, or you can find it on the next screen. See you later.